Hello, this is Ken Horii. I'm very pleased to offer a selection of my artwork for sale to support the American Buddhist Study Center. For this ABSC fundraising event, I'm presenting 25 pieces for auction, 10 works on paper and 15 sculptures. In this video, I will show select examples of the work offered and discuss ideas in the work and their connection to Buddhism. I was honored last fall, 2019, when Hozen Seki, president of the American Buddhist Study Center, invited me to exhibit a selection of my sculpture and works on paper, along with my late father's painting and drawings, in the ABSC library in New York City. My father was an architect and artist. This is an installation view of two large works on paper in the ABSC library. There are two large works on paper from this series offered in this auction that were not shown in the exhibition last fall. My connection to the New York Buddhist Church and the American Buddhist Study Center is through my parents who, along with activities they participated in, had me take Japanese language classes and judo lessons at the New York Buddhist Church as a young boy. I am a Sansei, third-generation Japanese American. All of the sculpture and works on paper in this auction have varying levels of Buddhist thought in their conception and realization. I consider my work to be alongside Buddhism, partly in dialogue with Buddhist concepts of impermanence, of embracing but also questioning the importance of iconography, and of using spatial diagramming as a mental focus or metaphor. Two large works on paper are included in this auction from an ongoing series titled Temporal Architecture that incorporate various architectural floor plans, numerous flattened box patterns, and temporal spatial diagrams like dance notation, all of which is meant to be imagined dynamically, opening and closing in stacks or spatial adjacencies. Although I often incorporate iconographic references found in historical Buddhist art, and what I see as my own diagrammatic equivalencies to some specific Buddhist iconography, I don't consider myself a Buddhist in the pure sense of, because I don't practice according to Buddhist processes of prescribed rituals or precepts. However, along with and often confluent with my artistic practice is my study of Buddhist philosophy and psychology. The two large works on paper included in this auction from the most recent series have several layers of robot drawing as a collaboration. Here is a record of the simplest robot drawing on the work, Eversion Dharma, included in the auction. The other work on paper in the auction is titled Passographic Ontology, a 6-foot folded paper form using diagrams and folding proportions referencing computational origami. This is an installation view of passographic ontology for the scale reference. And here is a view of some folded models related to this work. Two of the wall sculptures up for auction are examples of a series titled Vestigium. The first sculpture seen here is titled Dilruba, after a stringed instrument common in Punjabi Indian music. The form and painting are evocations of the instrument and the sound it produces. These wood sculptures are constructions with ink painting on absorbent surfaces. They are formed into an angle to suggest a moment in the transition between opening or closing. I consider the shadows that these pieces cast on the wall a critical part of their experience. It is most effective when the sculptures are installed on a wall with overhead spotlighting, or ideally with sunlight that animates them and changes the shadow through the day. The second sculpture is titled Second Nature and is a questioning of action by instinct in its image and in the process of its making. This wall sculpture, titled Mal Avatar, uses the same materials and process as the works in the Vestigium series, but was a stand-alone work. It suggests the paradox of aesthetic negativity, a binary presence of forces. These wall sculptures are made using cut and glued plywood strips. They are titled Vestige 1 and Vestige 2 and are abstracted minimal Buddhapada referencing the icon of the Buddha's footprint. I chose plywood as a material with consideration of its identity of opposite dualities, a dry and static map of the movement of water, an organic material transformed into a strict industrial module, and the reincarnation, real vitalization of a dead substance. The two drawings shown here are from a series of 6 that used various inks to create different levels of transparency. They are all folded, multi-layered inkblots. These reference the psychologic inkblot concept of interpreting multiple visual forms that are emotionally evocative. The first example is titled Shalagrama, referencing an icon of the Hindu god Vishnu. The second example is titled One of Two, a twin of an absent other. This is a 7-foot tall sculpture that attaches to the wall made of wood and paper with a convex mirror. The title is Of Mind and Matter. It is an overt reference to a Buddha footprint with 108 images typical of stone sculptures of the same iconographic format found in Thailand. The 108 ink blots replace the traditional symbols on the front of the sculpture. There are also 108 ink blots covering the back of the sculpture that are visible from the front by looking through the round opening and observing their reflection in the mirror. The red painted wood frame has over 2,000 painted eye images on the front and back surfaces. This was a moment in my work where I wanted to acknowledge an established iconography, but with Western symbols of ambiguous perceptions of reality, by using inkblot images. Rise and Decay of All Aggregates is a 10-foot-long horizontal work on paper. It was done simultaneously with the previous sculpture. The holes were ink blots burned away, each unique. The projections of light and shadow I considered simultaneous binaries of presence and absence, of full and empty, and of context defining these states of being. This is a close-up detail of the folded ink blots that are burned away, 768, each of them unique, in Rise and Decay of All Aggregates. I'm very pleased to advocate support for the vibrant programming of lectures, reading discussions, and exhibits offered by the American Buddhist Study Center in New York. I love my tools that help me realize my work, and like the American Buddhist Study Center, they are vital partners in the pursuit of advancing endeavors towards understanding. Thank you.